There's no rewards, guys. There's nothing. We're just
Just prime.
I know we should be getting prizes for these questionnaires, bro. These pop quizzes,
Well, I mean, none of us won. So.
like a gold star or something.
You get a silver star.
We're all winners.
We were close. You know, it's interesting that it's the same day that we do in the podcast again with the interest rate hike.
Oh yeah, it's by
Yeah.
coincidence.
Because
By coincidence.
It's pretty
By
good.
No, it's well planned. What are you talking about?
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
We planned it.
This is how we roll,
All right,
man.
all right.
Planned it.
Well,
So,
on top of this shit.
Let's start.
Episode 5.
okay.
Yeah, episode 5, guys. Welcome to the 5-Star Podcast. We have 5 of us here today. We have Richard, we have Woody, we have Rod, and we have Winston, and my name is Kenny. And big news today. We got the interest rate announcement today from Bank of Canada.
Yes.
Looks like it's holding steady, boys.
Fantastic.
That's great.
No
news
more rate increases for now.
for now.
For now.
For now.
Yeah.
Until,
They're probably
until
going to
April.
reevaluate in
Until
6
April,
weeks
right?
again.
Yeah.
Very, very bullish. This is what the Bank of Canada said. It said the labor market remains very tight. The employment growth has been surprisingly strong. Unemployment rate is very low. Job vacancies are elevated. Wages continue to grow 4 to 5%. And inflation is down. I mean, everything is pointing to good news.
Well, what's the inflation rate now?
It eased to 5.9% in January.
Oh,
So-
that's good.
So it's the same
It's-
number as.
Yeah, I mean, it's still high, it's still up, but
Yeah.
it's slowed down tremendously compared to last year,
Yeah.
right? So all these are pointing to good news, and that's why the Bank of Canada decided to, pause the interest rates. And this is the first pause since raising it for the 1 year ago.
Yeah.
Correct.
12 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you
Yeah,
guys
you're
think?
right, actually. The last time they raised it, the first time they raised it was in March.
In March of 2022.
That's when it
Yeah.
began.
That's when,
Yeah,
that's
that's
when
when it
things were, people were getting caught between buying and selling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big market shift. I don't know. What do you guys think, man? This is good news.
Yeah.
Very bullish.
Yeah. Do you think it's a trend for the year, or I mean, it's gonna go up again? I'm hearing it's gonna go up.
The rates?
Yeah, 50
Um,
basis points in April.
I mean, my hope is, that they.
I mean, if they were going to increase it, they would have increased it this time. But I mean, I guess
they
they're
got-
taking more of a,
Yeah,
look
they
and-
can't
look
just
and
keep
see
doing
approach.
it, though, right?
they're probably taking a look and see
Exactly,
approach right
exactly.
now.
I
Like
think
they're probably
that's-
going to observe what's going to happen over the next 6 weeks.
Right.
And then evaluate if they should increase it again. Because once the U.S. increased their rate,
Yeah.
they're going to see how our economy compares to theirs.
It's true. They're going to follow
Right.
the U.S. most likely, I think. But all signs are pointing to the U.S., possibly increasing at 0.25
Right.
or 0.5 this year. So, yeah.
I think we've been telling our clients to get into the market, and here it is. It's right now or never, because the floodgates are opening.
Oh,
At the
it's
spring
insane.
market, rates are holding steady. Would
Yeah.
expect buyers back in.
Well, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I wanted to say the market right now. Like, how
I
are
was
you
just gonna
guys
talk about the
experiencing the
market,
market?
too. Yeah, exactly. I was
It's
just gonna
insane
talk
right now.
about
The amount of buyers and demand right now.
Because the market stats from a year ago, like February transactions to February transactions of this year, it's down almost 50%. Wow. Right. However, if you were to look at the January stat from January to February, right, it's actually increased by 50%, right, in terms of transactions.
And why do you think that is?
Well, it's because the buyers are all coming back out now to look to shop. So because they see that this is the bottom. People were waiting for the bottom. This is the bottom.
Yeah,
And
we
if
bottomed
there's-
out,
no more,
boys.
yeah, there's no more.
Yeah, so wait no more, buyers. Like, if you're waiting, this is the time to start buying now, because spring market's gonna come and it's gonna explode.
So you're saying bid war is back now?
Oh, it's been
It is
back.
back.
It's been
It
back
is
since
back. But
January.
But
Yeah.
it's back.
But how
back.
are you guys feeling? Like, I mean, I see a lot of listings with bidding dates, bidding wars. A lot of them are not still hitting their targets. Like, there's a lot of bidding wars still, but I think a lot of the sellers still have a little bit more of a higher expectation.
Well, they have to be careful too right now, because even if they were to overbid themselves, they're actually putting themselves in a really bad position, because appraisals are still coming back, the way they
Negative.
are supposed to
Yeah,
come
yeah,
back, right?
For sure.
You got it.
So you can't just go over the top like
Yeah.
they used to.
Like, the sellers are not, they're still thinking that they can get a certain amount, but we as realtors, we have to educate them and say, hey, this is, take it now, or you're gonna be on the market for another 30, 60 days. And that's what's happening. Like, they have to, if they don't take the best offer, they just readjust their price and then they sit on.
So what are
market.
your advices to sellers?
Well, for sellers, curb your expectations still. Like you're not
We're not back to February 22 pricing.
yeah, we're not getting 300,000, 400,000
or
more.
21, yeah, or February 21.
Yeah. In a sense, so going back to one of our previous sales, our client was like, we wanted 1.3. We only got them 1.248, pretty close. They were a little hesitant, but it was a clean deal, no conditions. And in this climate, having no conditions is quite rare.
How many offers did you have on that property?
We had 10.
10 offers.
We had 10, and that was the best one. We got them the best price,
Right.
and then 3 weeks later, they got something a little like we saw on the market. There was another one that sold on the pretty close for $10,000 more without a finished basement, and he sent it over. He's like, "Oh damn, this one doesn't even have a finished basement." At that moment, that was the best.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Right?
So, I mean, you got 10 offers, and that was the best offer.
that was the
The
absolute.
market has
best.
basically told you that this is the best
at
price
this
you're going to get.
moment at this
And how
time.
many viewings you have?
We had like 150.
That's insane. man.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
So,
insane.
you know what I mean? You got 10 offers. That's
So what was your response to him when he sent that post?
We told him, like, after he sent that over, obviously he was, we could have got more, but in another sense, we paid less for the upgrade.
It's all
So,
relative, right?
Yeah, like for the place that we got him, we didn't have to pay as much as we probably needed to pay now, right? So
Yeah, you buy high,
Sell high,
sell
buy
high.
low,
You buy
sell
high,
low.
you sell low, right?
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah,
So
the
that
expectations,
10 grand,
yeah.
like sure enough, every dollar counts. But you'll have to look at when you buy, you're not paying as much as well.
Yeah.
So your spread is not
Right.
it didn't grow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he could have sold for more, but then the house he could have purchased would have been that much more as well.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's what the expectations, we have to educate them pre-listing too. You just have to let them know.
Yeah. Like I tell my clients, whatever price you want to sell it for, I can sell it for you. It's just a matter of time. I can sell it for you for this price right now. Give me a month. I might be able to sell it for another 20 grand. But can you wait another month?
Well, there's also expenses too. So a lot of sellers, they don't factor in, your mortgage payments, your property tax, all this, like 30 days in, every 30 days you're adding to your cost too, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
You're paying that mortgage interest, possibly storage fees.
Yeah.
And in the end, is it worth it?
Yeah, you get 10 grand more, but it goes to all those other expenses. So
Yeah, and
you're
then
not really pocketing it.
And then how many sellers are tripping out when it's close to closing time on either a pre-con or something a resale that they purchased, and now they have to sell.
Yeah.
You got them the peace of mind. How much is that worth to them?
Right.
But what a big contrast, though, like compared to, let's just say if that house sold in December of 2022 compared to now, it's a big difference. Looks like it bottomed out in December for
I
sure.
think so. I think December was the bottom.
Yeah.
definitely. I started seeing a lot more bid wars in January.
In January, but now it's
Actually,
even
late January. Sorry.
It
correct that.
started
Late January. That's when it started.
It started in January. It got pretty intense in February, and now I think it's just all out, man. Like yesterday, I worked on a condo in Markham, and there were 4 bully offers. It didn't even make it to the offer date. Ooh, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
After how many days on the market?
like 3 or 4. Like offer dates are usually 1 week, right?
Yeah.
But what I'm saying, like 90% of the houses that are well staged, well presented, they all have offer dates on it right now.
Yeah.
York
Absolutely, yeah,
Region,
of course.
Halton, they all have
Durham,
offer dates.
Yeah, even Durham. Yeah.
And a lot of them don't even make it to the offer date. That's the thing.
And what are your feelings regarding bully offers? Because on one hand, you're like, if I'm getting this offer right now as a seller, what can I get possibly if there was a presentation date in a week's time?
You'll never know, right?
You know what? Honestly, it can work either way.
Yeah.
Right. You can either get the best offer on the bully offer.
Yeah.
And if you know, I'm going to wait. You
Yeah.
know, I think Actually, I think Win and I actually were in a competition one time. I actually submitted a bully offer
Yeah.
on the same house.
Yeah, we're talking about the same
And
house as
they
well.
they end up I ended up offering it a lot more than what they ended up selling it for.
I think it was like 70 grand.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right. It
So
was 70 grand
his bully
difference.
offer was
70 grand more.
70
than your
grand
offer?
more than the
Than
offer
everyone
that
else.
Yeah,
actually
but they were
won.
like, no, we're gonna wait. And I'm like, well, you know
luck.
what? This is a very fair offer.
Yeah.
You should take it now. The market's changed. You know, this is actually a really good price, and they didn't want to take it. They
So-
said we
Yeah.
want to wait till offer
They
presentation
decided
date.
to lose
And
a
then, you know
car.
what?
I don't know. What can you say, right?
We ended up not even
generous.
submitting the offer at the end, and they ended up selling it for much less.
And your client wasn't at the presentation?
No, they
skipped out,
they
right?
actually did more time. They had more research time.
Yes.
And they did more feng shui, like
Yeah.
things, and they're like, oh, this doesn't actually fit our feng shui,
Ooh.
right? So
Ouch.
it was
So they lost
we
the
backed
buyer.
out.
They
We
lost a
backed
really
out.
strong buyer.
Ouch.
Yeah. Whereas and then Win got lucky.
No, it's not luck, man. It's not luck.
It's not luck, please.
He's
It's
gonna
not
hate.
luck. It's not luck.
Haters gonna hate.
Don't hate. Don't hate.
So
you
bully
know-
offers could backfire on the seller sometimes.
of
You-
course.
you,
Yeah.
just never
Of
know.
course.
100%.
Yeah.
But like you said, it depends on the house and how if it's well staged, well presented. It's 9 times out of 10 it's probably set up for a bid war. So I did a listing. Durham is hot right now. Durham is selling. So before I listed the house, I went through with the client. I said, here's our area, here's our community. And we looked at, let's say 50 houses, and not like out of 50, 40 of them were set up for bid wars. Like it's crazy. It's crazy. And the ones that had not been set up for a bid war tried to, and then they price changed it.
Right.
So
right,
everyone's
that's what I'm
going
saying.
for it, right? Everyone's going for it. And this might be the market, like you said, spring market, rates holding steady. I think it's great for our sellers. It really is, right?
Yeah.
But then back to your point, the expectation, right? Curb the expectation.
100%.
So they want to sell high, but they want to buy low.
I think right now, like with the bidding wars, do you guys find that the actual selling price is in line with the market, or is it over the market?
No,
What
it's
it- what
some
it
of them are
ends
getting
up
over.
selling at? You're talking about what it ends up selling at?
I
What
mean,
it ends up.
it's not as high as it was last year.
Yeah.
But there's some properties where I saw where this is actually more than I thought than it would sell for.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
But it's not like, what do you feel? Like maybe like 30-40% of them that are like staged well, listed well, they're going over market.
more
or-
than expectations.
Yeah,
It's
more
hard-
more than what we would expect.
Exactly,
Based off
exactly.
of previous sales.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
So
I wouldn't say all of them. Like a good chunk though. Yeah.
So what are your opinions on bidding wars as realtors and for buyers and for sellers?
You know what I think? I think bidding war is fine, but it should be really transparent, right? There should be really no secrecy to the process. If you can pay more, you deserve more,
Yeah.
right? If you have the financial capability to pay 150 more than this other couple or person, you deserve it.
Yeah.
So I mean, I've always been saying I really don't agree with the bid war process. I
Yeah.
think it should just be open, and the best person wins.
But if you look at the stats, say Australia, they have an open auction,
Yeah.
right? And that proved that that actually made prices much worse and higher.
Really?
It did. Yeah.
Because it was out in the open.
Because it was
everyone
out in the
could see
open.
bid.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, Sotheby's and Christie's would hold blind bidding if they got their clients higher selling prices, right?
I'm looking at it from a moral perspective, like,
Right.
right? Like the idea of like, okay,
No, if you have a desire to want to buy a property, right, and you have an open bid, right, like, oh, I really love this property. Oh, you know what? Like they gave me $150,000 more, right? Okay, I can.
of
match
courr
that.
you'll want that. You'll take
Yeah,
it. Of course,
I'll
I know.
match that. I'll match
Our
that. I'll up
objective
it.
is
I'll
to
up
get
it
the
further.
highest price for
Yeah.
our sellers, right?
It's like if the desire's there, then.
But
they're
why
gonna-
wouldn't it be with an open system though? That's what I'm saying. Like,
Like,
why
I mean,
not?
if it's an open system, like if it's a desired property, then the bidding will just keep going up and up and up and up.
It
Or
will make
not.
prices much worse.
Or it'll qualify the buyers who make an emotional decision within 5 seconds to go well over, and they'll say, no, I see that person as 150. I can't do that. I can't go 150 over. I can go 125. That's my max. That's always been my max, and I'll stick to it. Right? That's what I'm saying. Maybe there's a filter by seeing the highest bid. Well, you can do it or not.
Right.
Right? You can compete or you can't.
I guess if
I
you
don't
look
see
at
a
it from
problem with
that perspective, but in terms of price, it doesn't like make the prices go down. But I can understand your point where,
But
morally.
I don't think it'll change even in the blind bid.
Yeah.
If your max is, you say 125,
Yeah.
you're not going to go 130 still.
I don't know. I've
Right.
had clients who are like,
And they'll over-leverage
Well, they
just to
always
get
ask,
it?
"What do you think the highest bid is?" I don't know. Of course, they're not going to tell me because they strategize based on that. Because obviously they're trying to get a deal. But I don't know. I mean, what do you guys think about
Didn't they change the rule where if the owner wants you to disclose it, you can disclose it?
Oh yeah. But then you should be disclosing it to all realtors.
everybody? Yeah,
Well, that's what I mean. Like, it's all situation based, right? So
Yeah.
if your seller is saying, disclose the price,
Yeah, you
right?
can.
Then you're okay with selling it.
Absolutely.
yeah. You have to listen to the lawful instruction of your client.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. If they say, "Go ahead and tell everyone, I want at least $2 million." Okay. Well.
Yeah, but because in my experience, if you got offers and one is drastically higher, it's different. But if you're neck and neck with another buyer,
Right.
and you're within 5 or 10 grand, if they go up 5 grand and I see that, I'm like, I can go up 5 grand above them, and then they're going to say, oh, it's just another 5 grand for them.
It'll keep going. Yeah.
It'll go back and forth, and where does it
Next
stop?
thing you know, 50 grand more. You're like, oh shit.
and then somebody's going to get sick of it and go 50 grand more. Yeah. So I think there's arguments to either side, but how about as a realtor? Do you think a fire market like it's going to be this spring is better or worse for as a realtor, or and as well for buyers or sellers? For sellers, definitely a hot market is awesome. What about as a realtor for ourselves?
Depends, right? I mean, if you work with mostly buyers, then it's obviously not as fun.
Yeah.
Right. If you work with sellers, it's great. But in my perspective, I don't think like a super hot market is good in the long run. We're getting a lot of buyers being outbid, and if you represent a buyer, you got to put down like 10 offers and lose 9 of them before you score 1.
Yeah.
A lot of time.
Yeah.
So
And out of the 10, you're probably looking at 10 more or 20 more units before you actually put in.
exactly.
So
Exactly.
It's a lot of legwork for us, which we don't mind, but for the buyers too.
It's just it's emotionally draining for buyers.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, because we
for
do this
us,
all the
we're-
time.
Yeah, we're
right?
just we're putting in the legwork and whatnot. But the buyers are like, oh, I lost this one. Oh, I really wanted it. I lost another one.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely emotionally draining. I've had clients that failed in bidding wars 4 or 5 times, and they're like, "We need a break."
Yeah,
You know what the
I don't know
hardest?
if this coming market is going to be what it was prior. I feel the market is going to be, there's going to be bid wars because there's still a lack of inventory,
Absolutely.
but the buying pool is not as big, right? It's not as big as it was previously. So therefore you're probably not going to get the 15. I mean, actually that's not true. You're going to get the 15, 20, but I mean, it's not going to be as crazy. The jumps in prices are not going to be as aggressive as it was in the past.
Hopefully, but I'm seeing pretty crazy jumps. Like the other day, there was a freehold townhouse in Oakville that was listed for $999, and they held offers. And I was
Okay. Oakville. Okay.
Oakville,
Okay. So
What was the market?
has it sold? Has it sold?
it's sold. It's sold.
Okay. Should we guess?
We're guessing this.
Okay, it was listed for $999.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah, yeah.
and I was
Tell us.
expecting,
Give us the
I was expecting around 1.15.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
That's low. That's a low expectation.
Tell us about the townhouse.
Is it?
it's a freehold townhouse.
Yeah.
Freehold
And
townhouse?
It's,
Three
it's
bedroom.
2-story,
How big is
2-story,
it?
3 bedrooms. It's around 1,500 square feet. Okay,
Single car.
Not too big.
single
Underground.
How old is it? 15, 20
car. Yeah,
years?
it's like 10, 15 years.
Okay. Okay.
Where?
Yeah.
Where?
I don't remember the exact intersection, but it's one of the. I don't remember.
Did it show well? Was it staged and all? Or did
Not
it
really. Not really. It
needed
wasn't.
renovations.
It was just a standard house. It wasn't upgraded. It wasn't staged particularly
okay.
well. It was just an average house.
Okay, don't
999.
tell us the price. dude.
999.
Yeah, you say
Okay.
999.
No,
No,
it
listed
was,
for
it was
9.
listed
So
for 999.
what do you think?
My number for something like that right now, three bedrooms too, right?
Yeah,
3 bedrooms, 3 washrooms.
Yeah.
Probably 125.
That's what I was thinking
that's
too.
what I'm
That's
thinking
exactly
right
That-
now.
that's what I was thinking.
That's sort of market
1.25.
value right now. 125,
Yeah, that's
128.
what I was
probably
thinking.
what we're looking at for like a freehold townhouse.
Like
pretty
under
close.
1.2 might be hard.
I was
Yeah,
I
for
was in
something
and
like
around
that.
125. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty close. It was almost 1.3. It was almost 1.3.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's
Almost
crazy.
1.3. Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's even higher than our expectations.
Yeah, and this was recently, and so the market is definitely big shift. Even just compared to last month, I find.
Wait, can they close though? That's the
Yes.
thing.
Well,
I was
Can
just
they
gonna
close?
Ask, well, I was just gonna ask, what was the market valuation for that property?
Yeah.
Yeah,
What are some comparables?
Yeah.
you know, most of the compares were back in December, so I guess it's not too fair. But I was thinking like 1.15, 1.2 max.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
so
1.3.
almost
Yeah,
1.3.
1.3 is
Yeah.
quite a bit
Wow.
more than
Was that our client?
No. No. Yeah. So that's very interesting. But I want to point out the stats too. That this is from January to February of 2023.
Yeah.
This is the first time that the home price index actually went up in price. In the first time since the rate hikes.
Right.
So it definitely bottomed out in December. If you're looking at the stats from January to February of this year, the average home price index in Toronto went up an extra 1.1%. Now, it doesn't seem like a lot, but it's still a jump.
Okay. Explain home price index.
Very good question, Woody. So there's a few things. Let's go by average price. That's very typical, very obvious. You take the total, the amount, and then divide it by number of properties, and that's the average price. But the average price is not good because it could be skewed. If a lot in a certain time period, if a lot of lower end homes sold, it's going to skew the numbers downwards.
Of course.
Vice versa with
it
higher
blends
price homes.
everything, every category into one.
Exactly.
Right? So
So median is a little bit better. It takes it sorts out all the sold prices, and the number right in the middle is a median. But again, it could be skewed. So home price index is the better way to do it. It actually tracks the typical home or the more the more traditional homes, and it excludes the lower end properties and excludes the ultra high end properties.
Right.
So it's
So it's
more
just taking
realistic.
the middle piece.
The middle point. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
What is it?
So the home price index change from January to February is 1.1%. Okay. So that's an increase for the first time in 11 months. Okay.
That's huge.
Yeah. But however, we are still down year over year though.
Of course.
Makes
that
sense.
So year over year in GTA, we're down about 19%
Wow.
since the peak of last year.
I mean, it was the
Well, it's
absolute
supposed
peak, though.
it was going
It's
to
the
happen.
absolute
Yeah, it's
peak.
going to happen,
Yeah.
right? It was going to happen. I think we're at a healthy level, to be honest. This is where it should be.
Yeah, and I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna guess from February to March, it's gonna increase more.
Yeah.
I'm just a guess. All right. So sorry, what were you saying?
I was gonna say anything.
I swear you did.
I know.
I'm gonna run back the tapes.
Yeah.
It's like,
Okay, let me ask you guys something. See if you could guess. The year over year, which area do you think had the steepest price decline?
The steepest price decline.
It's
Steepest
like
price
we're
decline.
pretty specific, like the
are you
town
doing
and the
a-
city.
okay. I can go first.
Year over year.
So I'm definitely, based on how it was before, I think the Durham region was definitely the one that went up the most because it didn't have too many transactions, but when anything did come up, it was crazily outbid. So my guess is Oshawa or Whitby. One or the other.
I'm gonna say just based on what other clients have said, and some other people, I'm gonna say Brampton.
Oh,
I'm gonna say Brampton because Brampton used to be
Peel region.
Actually,
Brampton
actually,
used to
you know
be
what? I
like
don't-
300,000 over asking.
Yeah.
So
I
I'm gonna
think
say
you're
it's
wrong,
stable
bro.
enough. That's my guess.
I think
Hey,
you're wrong.
I'm gonna say
Because you know
Brampton.
why? Is because Indian immigration is actually the number
Yeah,
one.
save your guess, man.
Save your yeah. Don't justify.
No, but I'm
Don't-
justifying it.
Let them talk. Let them
Okay,
talk.
but I'm just saying is that like number one immigration for Toronto right now is Indians, right, and then Chinese,
Yeah.
right, and then
The market goes where the market goes. Okay? We're just
Well,
talking
how-
about the biggest decline.
Okay.
But you're right.
in-
you're right.
in
100%.
average price.
So you got Brampton. I got Oshawa.
Oshawa, what do you got?
Woody, what do you got?
I'm going to go with. I think Oshawa is a pretty good call.
I actually agree.
Yeah.
3
I'm on the same-
Oshawa guesses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my feel.
Richard says Oshawa because of his interaction with the locals.
From last week. It's like that part of town didn't mean as much, man.
Central Oshawa.
No, Oshawa's huge, guys. Oshawa's
Yeah, I
huge.
know.
It's,
I think
mean,
Oshawa's steady. I think
Central's
Oshawa-
pretty rough, but yeah.
well,
Okay.
Okay, so wait. Okay, what is it?
These are all good
PTSD.
guesses, but the correct answer is Caledon. Caledon
Oh.
dropped negative 25%. year over year.
Okay, so what is there in Caledon? Like, there's not
No,
a lot
there's,
of
there's
infrastructure.
massive estate homes.
There's not a lot of
in Caledon.
infrastructure to justify that.
Oh no, yeah, they
increase,
don't
though.
live there
That's what I'm
because
saying,
they
yeah.
want to work there or anything
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah,
They-
yeah.
It's a beautiful rolling hills.
Yeah, the people
open
that live in
But you
Caledon
wouldn't- you
don't
wouldn't
have
like-
to work.
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
A lot of people that did move out
massive
there have to
estate
move back
homes.
out,
They're
right?
But
Caledon
why do you
is-
think? Why do you think the big fluctuation? Then?
yeah. Actually, I'm
Do you
surprised.
think it's a lot of work from home crew? Like they went there and during the lockdown and now they had to go back and sell? Like, I don't know. What do you guys think?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, infrastructure is not there to support that type of increase.
Yeah.
I just don't think people there are making the income that needs to sustain that type of level of home prices.
And
So-
it's actually very interesting you say infrastructure. So for our listeners and viewers,
Yeah.
what do you think is key infrastructure for price maintenance or appreciation?
So I think, well, public transportation
Access,
is
for
definitely
sure.
one. Like obviously the access to a highway is
Yeah.
pretty important, especially out there. So as you get closer and closer to Toronto, I think that just having the time, like, 15 minutes away is 15 minutes away drive. You can't change that. And I think every 15 minutes is a difference between Ajax, Pickering. Another 15 will be, Whitby, Oshawa. So I'd say every 10 to 15 minute drive, you see a price drop.
Yeah.
That's my think. And Caledon is probably a good
Yeah.
40 minutes away from
Yeah.
It makes
like
sense
the
with
floor,
what you're saying.
like the DVP even.
Yeah, no, it makes sense with what you're saying in that, infrastructure or the economics of Caledon isn't very strong, right? However, the economics are not much different than, like, say, Stouffville, right? Like, Stouffville is primarily a city that, is people where they go and live. It's residents purely,
Yeah.
right? So is Caledon, right? So they depend on neighboring cities to support their economy. or
Yeah, like
their-
the spillover from Markham.
well, exactly.
It is.
So
It really
Caledon
is, yeah.
would be a big spillover from, say, like Vaughan or Brampton.
Yeah.
And whereas, Stouffville would be more like Markham. and
Richmond
like-
Hill, Aurora,
Exactly.
Newmarket.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got.
Yeah. Maybe there was more spillover in Caledon, during the lockdown. Right.
Possibly.
What is the average price of a home in Caledon right now? What does it say?
Yeah.
Caledon average price. So this price includes all detaches and townhomes. It's 1.3 million.
That seems really, really high still.
Yeah, that's really
Kind
high.
of, right? Like
Yeah,
Yeah, 1.3.
Yeah, that's lumping detached and townhouses.
Everything.
Wow.
Yeah, that's everything.
That seems really high.
Yeah. But Oshawa is pretty close. Oshawa is a negative 23.7% year over year. And the average price on that one is 822,000.
That's huge.
What was Brampton?
No, Brampton's not on the list, man.
Richard and I have to talk about it. What is it? What is
Brampton is negative 22.7%.
see? Right? Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was definitely more significant than I thought.
There's no rewards, guys. There's nothing. We're just pride. Just pride.
I know. We should be getting prizes for these questionnaires, bro. These pop quizzes.
Well, I mean, none of us won. So.
like a gold star or something.
You get a silver star.
We're all winners.
Close.
All right, let's guess the other one. Okay, which town or city had the least year over year decrease? So the town or city that did the best, that performed the best, and held their price the best.
Start on this end.
Oh, okay. All right. Quick. Boom.
Come on, Rich.
Boom.
I want to say Richmond Hill.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
Forest Hill.
You mean Toronto?
Just,
yeah.
Sure. Toronto.
Okay, city of Toronto.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
City of Toronto.
I'm thinking Markham.
all good guesses, man. Richmond Hill wins.
Ooh.
It only decreased year over year, negative 12.37%. That's the best performing. But
Wow.
the city of Toronto did pretty well too. It's negative 13, negative 13.89. Okay. That was all the guesses, right? Just Toronto
And Markham.
Oh, and
Markham.
Markham. Markham did okay too. Let me just see where Markham is. Negative 13%. So it's all
Just about-
pretty close.
Yeah,
It's all pretty close. So it shows you location is key, right?
it really is.
Yeah. Close to the city,
Close
near
to the
highway.
city, you got highway, you got
yeah.
the full infrastructure. And
Richmond Hill
demand,
is looking at-
demand, really.
Yeah, it's a huge area
Yeah.
for Richmond Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the interesting part is the single family detached decrease the most year over year, and as you get cheaper, the prices held on average better. So if you look at condos, they kept their prices relatively in line. Like they didn't drop as much as detaches.
That's because
Oh,
that's what
Yeah.
that's what anybody can afford. That's it.
Condo
Yeah.
apartments are generally going to maintain because
Yeah.
they're their starter homes, right?
Starter
Yeah.
homes, yeah.
It's like the entry level point. So
Yeah,
really
larger
it's not
pool.
gonna. Yeah, there's always gonna be a buyer pool there.
What's the average price of a detached in Richmond Hill?
Richmond Hill 1.426 million.
I would pay 1.4 over a 1.3 in Caledon. I don't know. Again, Caledon blows my mind. I have no idea.
It's an average
why.
price, right?
This is
the
average,
volume,
yeah.
the
Yeah.
volume,
Yeah.
Yeah.
volume of sales in Richmond Hill versus Caledon is going to be much greater.
Of course.
But
Yeah.
then again,
It's closer to this,
you're
of course.
40 minutes
It's more
away
popular,
from
yeah.
Toronto. You know,
But there's also different pockets of Richmond Hill,
there
Yeah.
are.
right? There's some
Well-
better areas of Richmond Hill, like Jefferson Forest,
Yeah.
versus like areas that you were working in, like
Yeah.
Mill Pond or whatever. Like there's so many different
No,
communities.
definitely.
Right.
But just overall, like if it was like up to you as a buyer, would you pay Richmond Hill or would you live out in Caledon?
Depends on what kind of lifestyle, though, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Caledon would be more of a not farmer.
no, but
but
it's less. It's not
less
as busy,
busy.
so they get out there to get away from
They're
all
like
that.
they want
all
that
the chaos,
outdoor,
right?
and all
Right.
that, yeah.
Well, if you're used to growing up in say a place like say Vaughan or Brampton, and you want to buy something closer to family, right? Then you're gonna maybe buy something in Caledon, right? Or Kleinburg.
Or if they get a bigger, if they can get a bigger house in Caledon
Jerk.
versus
There's something wrong
I
with
saw that
Kleinburg,
one, man.
Yeah,
I
it's
saw
for
that
the
one.
fam, bro.
Kleinburg, bro.
It's for the fam.
But
Haters.
no, look. If they can get a bigger house in Caledon versus a small, tiny
Rich,
townhouse in Richmond Hill, what
that
would
was
you
a
do? Right?
direct aimed shot. Man.
No Kleinberg love here, yo. No Kleinberg love.
Yo,
All right, for
my
our
sister lives
viewers,
right next to you,
Woody
man.
lives
Come on.
in Kleinburg.
But it's pretty far out there.
The Central and East Enders here.
Actually, it's been quite nice because once the 427 reached out to Kleinburg.
Oh, great recovery.
Yeah.
Great recovery, bro.
100%. Well, you're talking
Appreciate
about
it.
infrastructure access, right? So it was actually it's much more accessible and much easier.
It's personal now. No, it's
Less
personal.
personal.
Rich,
Less
there's no
personal.
recovery, but it's personal. It's personal. Kleinberg haters.
Yeah.
Come on. Kleinberg's awesome, bro.
So we talked about interest rates. We talked about bidding wars.
Let's talk about what you guys think would be the forecast for this year. Okay, so Durham dropped negative 23% year over year, but now, as you're saying, activity is picking up quite a bit right now.
I'm seeing a lot of bid wars.
Yeah. So, do you think it's gonna keep continuing?
I hope so.
You hope so.
I got a listing there right now.
So, like, I mean, if you're a buyer now, where would you tell them to buy?
if I was a buyer right now,
Like, yeah,
Depending on the budget.
where would you
Depending
kind
on
of?
the
I think it
budget.
depends on the buyer. The buyer would.
Well, good value. Let's just say like good value, something that kind of meets a lot of.
I still think personally, like Oshawa has untapped potential still, right? I know people are saying, "Oh, the prices have skyrocketed." It has, but there's still a lot of room for growth there. The school, remember the GM plant that used to be the draw, but now it's the university, right? Now it's become an institutional area, right, which is drawing a lot of crowds. Off the 401, or off the 407, they have the new Costco. Like it's really developing very fast. So I still think there's untapped potential in Oshawa, personally in the East. What do you guys think?
I think Oshawa is it's got so much potential because I think right now the region of Peel is still trying to clean up even Central because to me Central Oshawa is kind of like the old region park of Toronto where it was a little rough. There's still tons of potential. So I've seen some projects where big plots of land are being sold off, condo projects, and they're trying to gentrify the area to
Yeah.
clean it up and to bring in a lot more investors into the region. So I think it's a matter of time. Maybe not this year, maybe not next year, but it is coming. So Central Oshawa is definitely something to look out for.
Actually, that's very interesting. You mentioned Costco, Regent Park. Yeah, Regent Park. Look at how Hamilton has been gentrified. And I read an article comparing Costco versus Sam's Club in the States, but it showed that Costco's clientele is actually of a higher income. So I would go where the smart money is. If Costco is putting their business there, they know something.
They've done a lot of good research for you, right?
Exactly.
They don't
Absolutely.
randomly
An
place their
indicator. No.
spots.
Exactly.
Yeah, I've always told clients that wherever you see a smart center pop up,
Yeah.
they've
that's
done
actually
the
really
research
smart.
for you.
Yeah.
That's a good area, right? Generally speaking, it's a good area,
Yeah.
right? They know who's there. They know the income levels, like you're saying. They know who's going to be buying here, right?
Yeah.
Oh, and another thing that I always tell my clients too, if once you start seeing like little indications such as like a Starbucks pop up,
Done.
that is key because they're not going to put a Starbucks in a low income area
Correct.
because they already see it coming and they want to cater to that crowd. And if you're the only one there, everyone's going to come to you.
Why Starbucks? Why not chat time? What's going on?
Well,
There's no love for bubble tea. There's no love for the bubble tea.
But that definitely like it's more mainstream.
yeah.
So I think like
I understand.
usually
No, I get it. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
And
That's-
that's why
that's a key indication.
Kensington Market had such a huge pushback of having Starbucks come into there because they know once Starbucks is in there
everything else is gone.
and the locals won't be able to live in Kensington Market
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah. Starbucks is a key indicator.
Well, Kensington Market was always very independent, right? Like, it was more for the
Artists.
It's a close knit
It's-
community.
Yeah,
for sure.
exactly.
Yeah.
So putting a chain restaurant like that in there, it changes the dynamic.
Changes the
absolutely.
culture, the demographics.
Yeah, like
as
you have
well.
to support local, right? There's a lot of local coffee shops that
Yeah, definitely.
thrive on that business, right? So
right.
But yeah, you start seeing those. You start maybe it's like a Longo's or something. Like you said, Costco. Once those go up, people flood there, and it becomes a selling point for developers. For it, it pushes a lot of infrastructure all of a sudden to that
Yeah.
area.
Yeah,
So-
because if you were a business, you'd want to be closer to Costco because imagine how many clients you can get
Yeah.
just because you're next to a Costco.
Yeah, like no one wants to be beside. Like I don't want to put any shade on it, but like who wants to live next to a pawn shop versus like a Starbucks, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you get that different feel. Definitely, yeah.
Okay. No, that's fair. But where do you think the market's headed though in 2023? Is it like, are we going to see bidding wars until December? Do you think?
I don't think so.
Short term, I'd say increased prices, more bidding wars.
I don't see it slowing down right now.
I think interest rates are going to play a big
yeah,
role.
when's the next rate interest?
Yeah, I think
rate
those
hike?
variable factors would have to be considered.
Yeah.
Right?
See,
The
I
government.
don't even think the next rate would affect anything anymore. So the biggest thing why it dropped last year was because there was so much uncertainty with inflation and the Bank of Canada had to increase so aggressively. People were on the sidelines because there was such a big unknown. But now this year, the message is that it's going to be steady, or if they do increase, it's going to increase very small, like 0.25%. So there's more certainty. Even if they increase another 0.25 this year, I don't think it'll make too much of a difference. I feel like these rates now today are more normalized.
I think the effect of the interest rates haven't been fully felt yet. So they're saying a recession is we're still on the edge.
Now, where
It's
is this
still coming.
recession, by the way? Where is this recession?
You can't tell by looking at Yorkdale, but Nordstrom just left.
True.
Nordstrom's all gone. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
well, Bed Bath Beyond is closing shop. too,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And Bye Bye
So
Baby.
use up your gift cards.
But retail is different, though. I feel like that's different because that's a different topic.
Yeah.
I think it's just Canada doesn't have the population to support these.
Well, that's also brick and mortar too. Like,
yeah.
Well, the whole
that's-
business model is very.
it's a little
very
dated
now. Right?
It's a
For
little
sure.
dated, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think that's strictly just economics because people are still getting Amazon Prime. They're still shopping, right?
But you can't dispute the fact that these retailers leaving, that means less jobs and that means less money into the economy. And overall, there's going to be spillover effects into other areas of
I
the
mean, there's a lot of other
economy.
ways that people generate revenue today, right? Besides, actual employment.
Yeah.
Employment is actually a lot of corporations are having a hard time trying to find employees
So,
because they have their own way of generating their own revenue right now.
so what are your thoughts about where the market's going this year?
To be honest, I think the government is going to try to maintain it at a very steady increased rate. It's going up for sure. I don't think it's going to go down like last year. Like Kenny said, we have bottomed out. We are now going to start to slowly trend upwards, but not at a very aggressive rate.
Yeah.
Hopefully not.
Yeah.
Right? I think it's going to be very steady growth throughout the year.
We just need more
which is
inventory.
normal.
We just
Yeah,
need
that's
way
the-
more inventory right now.
Yeah.
100%. And you know what? Like we're still getting a huge influx of new immigrants to Toronto.
Absolutely.
Right. And that's what's driving the market, right? Like there's people, when you have new people come in, we have to find places for them to live. Right. So where are people going to move to?
Cool.
Yeah. Woody, what do you think?
Oh, like I said, bidding wars going up
For the year.
prices
Bidding
going
wars
up
for the
for the
year.
short
Okay.
term.
All right.
For the year, yeah, I think it's going to hold. It's a good time to buy because it's more balanced than we've seen in the previous years.
Yeah.
But I agree, it's going to continue going upwards.
Okay.
Not as a steep pace,
Right,
but
right.
definitely.
You know, the question is, okay, so at what point were the interest rates, where do they have to land for everything to just come crashing down?
Well, I
Like
mean,
you don't think it's going to go up much more this year? Woody, you're in the mortgage industry as well. What do you think?
I think
It's a tough question to answer. 'cause
I
we don't
think
know.
high single digits would be. I think it would start going back down, or at least hold steady.
well, I shouldn't have to come
Yeah.
to that. That's going to destroy a lot of things.
Yeah, I mean, right now, what are we at?
4.5.
Yeah. I think we can absorb because the average rates they aim for is around 5.5. So we should still be able to handle things up to that point. But if you're going into the 8s, that
Well,
will be painful.
I mean, honestly, recently, I think part of the buyer demand is actually because a lot of these banks have reduced their 4 and 5 year rates.
Absolutely.
We're talking at the Young City Square launch,
Yeah.
where we're talking to National Bank guys, right? And they're saying that, oh yeah, our 4 or 5 year rates are like 5.1, right? It was like, whoa, that's insane,
Right.
right? Like we're hearing 6, 7, right? Now it's at 5.1, fixed.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
fixed is actually lower than variable,
Yeah.
right? So
A lot of people are doing the 1 year fixed, like
Yeah.
at 6.5,
Yeah.
and then going in, hopefully locking into a variable after that, after the year, and hopefully goes. Yeah, the variable rate's much higher
Yeah.
than the actual fixed rate.
Yeah.
What's your prediction then, Rod, for the year?
I hope it's steady though. I like to see a balanced market.
I don't
Absolutely.
like seeing market rip.
Yeah, I hate
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
no, seriously. Like it's also affordability, and I know the prices have to go up eventually, but we still need to have a healthy market of buying and selling. We can't. It needs to be affordable, right? It really does. I don't think it ever will be anymore, but there needs to be a balance. So I like a balanced market. I think it's a balanced market now, right? I don't think this.
You think it's going to stick?
Depending on the product too, though, because come on, if you've got a great product, no matter whatever you have, and everyone wants it, it's going to the moon. That's. Do you know what I mean? If you got that one property, there's still a lot of buyers out there, but I'd like to see a balanced market. I want it to be fair, right?
right.
It could happen. Right now, it's not balanced for sure. It's not balanced, but in the summer, let's just say if there's more
If
inventory,
there's
it
more
could.
inventory,
So
I know.
let-
So I'd like to see that,
Yeah.
right? But I don't. So my prediction, I still think there's going to be a lack of inventory because we've had that for like 10 years, 20 years. There's always going to be a lack of inventory
our
if you think
economy
about
is
it.
growing.
Yeah.
Our economy is growing at a really rapid rate.
Yes.
Right. So, yeah, I don't know. I'd like to see it balanced, and I'd like to see both buyers and sellers get ahead.
So we got increase balance.
Well, I mean, I think
Okay,
Rod's
Winston.
ideal is a balance, but do you
Where I
think he
think it's
forecast
going, though,
Yeah.
I realistically think it's probably no. I think it's going to still be a buyer's market right now. If you ask me, like you're going to get ahead if you're the buyer, in my opinion, because the expectations, as we were talking about for sellers, it's not there because they still want the 2022 prices.
So when you say
right?
it's a buyer's market would generally mean that the buyers got their own choice. Like they can wait and take their time and pick properties.
And to get a deal.
Yeah,
they-
that's definitely
yeah.
not the case now.
Well, no. Okay, so it depends on so sellers right now are also with that same attitude, right? Because they don't have to sell it. I know some sellers who are testing the market out, literally.
Oh no,
because,
I have several.
Yeah, they think
100%.
they think in 2022 like it's going to be the same, and I'm going to get 200K over asking. Okay, fine, that's great. We'll try it out. But so they're testing the market. They don't have any pressure to sell. They haven't bought. They don't really plan on. Put it out there, see what we get, right? And hopefully we get more than expected. But is that the right strategy right now? Right? Like who's at the advantage?
You can,
Well, I mean,
you can
okay,
test,
so-
but it might not even sell.
Well,
right?
that's my point,
Yeah.
right? Like, no, I'm sure.
see a lot-
I'm
I see
sure
a
you get
lot
an
of-
offer, but does it get to where you really want?
It doesn't hit the target,
right?
So I'm seeing like right now I'm seeing a lot of people where they're testing. If they don't sell, they don't sell. If they don't get the price, whatever.
Oh well, right? Like,
Yeah, it's
oh, well.
like
Yeah,
it's
let's
not
try it.
it's not like I wouldn't call it a fake listing,
No,
but
no,
in
the
the sense
intent-
that
yeah.
the intent
The,
is
the intent is to sell.
they
it
want to get
if
the highest
they get
price.
the right price,
right?
Right. And
So
that's
a
what it-
lot of these they're unrealistic. So some of these,
But it's
listings
all
are not-
relative though at the end of the day, because if you sell high, the market's going up, right?
No,
Like,
no.
you're gonna-
I'm saying I'm just saying from the seller's perspective. Some of these listings, they're if they don't sell, they don't care.
yeah, they don't have to sell.
Yeah,
right.
They haven't bought anything.
I mean, as a seller, I mean, they have to sort of recognize that.
No, they.
No,
yeah,
but that's what we're
what-
saying though. That they won't so the expectation is still 2022.
Right.
so
Right.
that's
Okay.
that.
well,
Well,
it's not in
those
2023
require those
reality.
people require a lot of education.
Yeah.
100%.
So basically, my point here is a listing that let's say they're asking for 999. Their expectation is 1.4. If they're not getting it, that's a fake inventory on the market because no one's going to pay that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
gonna say.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I can see
in a
that.
sense, that being on the market does nothing for the market.
Yeah.
Like it
It's just
doesn't
a
it doesn't
test.
help
Yeah, yeah.
alleviate.
Okay,
Exactly.
so
Just
even
move
even
it down.
lower
Alleviate.
even lower inventory. Okay, so final
Yeah.
thoughts. We
Well,
said we'll have a quick podcast, but it's coming close to like a couple. I think it's like 45 minutes. But anyways,
Yeah.
final thoughts,
All right.
Winston.
Yeah,
2023.
so 2023, I actually think opposite of these guys. So I think spring market is definitely going to go up. There's still not enough inventory, but I think as the buyers that needed to buy start getting into the market in spring, I think it's actually going to slow down a little bit in the summer when people have already bought what they needed to buy, and then there's not that immediate need to, new buyers to jump in. So I think once that group has done what they need to do, the market's gonna stabilize and it'll still be a balanced market. That's my prediction.
Okay, so wait out the spring market craziness, and hopefully it'll come back to normal.
Yeah, I mean everyone's been waiting for a year, right? So those people that needed to buy, they're gonna be jumping in right now.
What about those renters that waited a year?
Which is right
to buy
now. Which is right now, right?
So
Like,
therefore, there's gonna be more buyer demand. No.
there's going to be buyer demand, but I think once that initial group of buyers that need to buy something or wanting to buy something, once they're done, I think it's going to be maintaining a balance. I don't think it's going to be like bidding war for the rest of the year. I think it's bidding war for spring. Summer is going to be stable. Fall maybe a little bit more, but it's not going to be like a huge increase.
Let's hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think, Ken?
Yeah, I'm in line with Winston. I mean, I don't want it to be up and up and up every single month. I don't think that's
Crazy.
uh,
It's not
We
healthy.
don't need
That is
to
not
break
healthy.
records
That
every
is
month.
not
no, we
healthy.
don't.
Yeah,
We don't.
that's
We,
not
we
healthy.
need something more balanced. I agree with you guys. So I'm hoping that's going to be the case. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Good
good.
podcast, guys.
All right. Good job, guys.
Good episode.
Bye bye.
Cool.